Welcome back, guys, and today we are doing Agree to Disagree. Of course, it's MMA related. It's always going to be. We have here two crosses. That is our strongly disagree section. We have disagree, agree, strongly agree. My opponent today is none other than Bradley Charles Sydney.
Sydney Charles, come on.
Sydney Charles, Bradley Sydney Charles Pickett. These are our, what do you call them?
Coasters.
Our coasters. Our agree, strongly agree coasters.
Our markers, yeah.
Ben is going to be asking the questions. We have no idea what the questions are, so there is no cheating.
For example, is Bradley a legend?
Strongly disagree.
Is Nathaniel, I was going to say something I probably can't say on the thing, but I agree with that.
What was you going to say?
I don't know.
That's strongly disagree.
Oh, sugar.
Of course, guys, we're going to do old school versus new school. Brad, obviously, if anyone knows, was in the UFC in 1993 when it was first launched. Now myself, obviously a lot younger, a lot better looking. Yeah, so we're going to see today whose knowledge is better.
A loss early in your career is actually a good thing.
So, I strongly agree. Reason being, because I never lost at amateur. When I did lose, it was at pro, and I learned a lot from that loss. Without that loss, I don't think I'll be the fighter I am today. But unfortunately, that will be on my record forever, so I wish that I had lost it in amateur, because if I'd lost it in amateur, I would have learnt the lessons, and it would not be on my record.
Of course, I'm similar with me. I lost early, and my first two fights I won within a minute.
Why am I laughing looking at Brad?
I actually thought someone was behind me.
No, I'm just...
So I lost in my third fight. I won my first two fights very easily. I fought a guy that I was going to beat easily. In the third fight, got beat. So I learned so much from my loss. But that was back in the day, and also back in your day. I do think nowadays, the business side of fighting, that can be very important. But nowadays, you're getting a lot of like these people with the records of 18-0, 19, and in MMA now, that's like, whoa. Like, look at someone like Moke. It stands out a lot more now. Where back in the day, someone had a record of 11-2, they could still be an amazing fighter.
Once you get knocked out, you're never the same.
I'm going to disagree, because I think it is all the way you look at it. So, for example, Islam Makhachev got knocked out on his second UFC fight, and he's been absolutely on a tear since. Of course, it can affect you, but I don't think that it is definite. I think it's just part of life, and it could and it might not. Depends what way you look at it.
This is why I'm slightly agree, because I slightly agree with you. It is very individual. For me, it affected me, because throughout my career, I'd never been knocked out. I've been dropped many times within my fights, but I'd never been knocked out. So I always felt, in my eyes, a bit invincible at times, right? And then I've suffered my first ever knockout, and I remember from there, after that fight, I felt vulnerable within a fight, and it took, especially with my fighting style, I was a guy who wanted to get in the pocket, be in your face, didn't care to get hit, to hit and land my shots. And then I'm like, mentally like, oh, actually, no, I actually can be vulnerable, I can get knocked out.
Yeah.
So it affected me, but I do think it's very a personal thing. You know?
Fighters used to be tougher in the WEC/UFC golden era.
Fucking 100%.
Tougher.
Tougher.
I'm going to agree, because WC to me was the best days, but I can't say it was because they were tougher.
I just think now...
Excuse me,
no,
I was talking.
I mean, no, come on.
Excuse me, motherfucker. I was talking.
Language.
I'm
Be
allowed
more
to swear.
professional.
I'm allowed to swear, Ben, are I? Yeah, allowed to
more
swear.
professional.
Ben said I could.
I could swear, but I'm more professional.
Because it was, for example, Brad just said that he got paid a lot less back in them days. To do the sport, you had to be tougher. I do think nowadays there's a lot more athletes as opposed to actual fighters.
That's what I was going to say.
So I feel like a lot more people now like the image. I'm in the UFC, you know, the glitz and the glamour. Whereas back in the day, there wasn't glitz and glamour. It was Brad got signed by the WEC and we were on what, 4 and 4?
I remember like fighting back in the day. I didn't care how I looked too much. Where like I know it's a part of business, you know, like, but I used to go into some fights just like so unshaved and hair a mess, and then after my fight I sort myself out. But I just didn't care as much. Where nowadays it's so much more of the business side of things. It attracts, and they're like the glitz and the glam and how do I look on TikTok?
Three-piece suits.
And it's so much like that. Where back in my day it was way more raw. Like I didn't care how I looked in a fight. You know, before a fight, I want to fight, and all I cared about was fighting. Where now, obviously, I get it, I understand it.
Now it's more attractive,
more of a business, more, and you do attract those. I do say like more the martial artists than the Mike Perrys and the people like me. The Robbie Lawlers, the guys who just want to get in there and fight. You know.
UFC fighters are underpaid.
Nah. Is that a thing?
You can sit on the fence.
I'm going to sit on the fence. And the reason I'm going to sit on the fence is because I do agree that UFC fighters don't get paid anywhere near as much as other sports. Do you know what? I would say agree, because I do agree that I think that when you get to the UFC, you should be on a little bit more than just your standard 10 and 10, because I do think that people put their lives on the line and work super hard. Once you get to that top promotion, you should, I think, get paid a little bit more.
We're contracted to the show, and we can't fight elsewhere. I think there should be some kind of monthly retainer to help people pursue their lives, because people do get injured and so on and so forth, and you only get paid to fight. So I do think sometimes it is a very stressful life, especially of injury and stuff like that, and you can't fight. So I do think there's some way they should give, doesn't have to be a lot of money, but some way that they could maintain.
Oh, what the fuck?
What is going
Bro.
on here?
You lot are fucking... Mimi, I thought you was meant to be a Muslim.
He actually looks like he has a mangina. There's actually a slit there.
This is disgusting. Mimi, I thought you was meant to be a religious, good Muslim.
This is haram, brother.
Nickname One Punch is better than the last Kingsman.
And the reason that I'm going to strongly disagree with that is because you've never beat anyone with one punch.
Talk about Yves Gibran.
What, you only threw one punch the whole fight?
How about Mark?
You had already hit him loads of times.
But still, one punch that knocked him out.
Ah.
It was an accumulation of punches. It was one uppercut.
Guys, this is going to be the debate in the comments. What name is better? One Punch
100%.
or The Last Kingsman?
No, you named it for film.
No, I'm not. The film's called The Kingsman.
Oh.
I'm the last.
thing is, you change your name. I've kept the same name from when I used to box when I was like 19 until this day. It's been the same.
You told me that when you started boxing that your nickname was The Killer.
No, what are you on about?
You said you was Brad the Killer Pickett.
Never. Where you got this from? I swear on my kid's life I never said that. That is absolutely fabricated.
All right,
but
Killer.
for me, yeah, One Punch is just way more original.
Guys, you guys decide, and whoever agrees more,
Coming out to Chaz and Dave.
whoever loses through
Your
the comments,
fans don't even know who Chaz and Dave
whoever
is.
loses in the comments has to come out with an apology video.
Okay, fine.
Deal.
Fine. But the guys here, you know, do your research, young ones. But yeah, obviously, come on, you know.
And on that note, guys, that is the end of today's video. I agree to disagree. We're going to do a few more of these, and we're going to bring some pacifists in, so there might be some arguments for the next ones. Until then, guys, peace out.
Hi, Nathaniel. I'm Mark Janicello. I'm an opera singer, a vegan, and a pacifist.
And this is the thing. I don't want to break you up.
But you will do it.
I will do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most aggressive thing I have ever seen.
But there's more deaths in boxing than there is in martial arts.
I think if they were not in the octagon, they'd be in a prison. This is a blood sport. It's no longer a sport when you're inflicting that kind of bodily damage on another person. We agree to disagree.
Of course we do.
Okay.